Good morning. Come right in. Glad to have you. My name is Sandra Walters, and the way I know President Carter is that my husband and he grew up together here in Plains. My husband is from Plains. He grew up right across the street over here, and they went to the same church that Jimmy and Rosalind went to. He would come from the front door, but he'd come straight back here, and this is where he would always want to sit, right here at this table here. And he felt like that he was at home here. Some of the things that we have enjoyed with Jimmy is that he was a politician and he was involved in that, but more than that with us, he was just a friend and a neighbor. And so he would come down here to my house. I would have a dinner, or I had a taco soup supper every night, every Christmas. He had just gotten president then. My husband, C.L. Walters, was the son of Beth Walters and C.L. Walters. And Rosalind was the daughter of Allie Smith. And they were first cousins. And so we would always go to the same family reunions. And that's the last picture I have. And he was the last time he came to the family reunion 2 years ago, I guess. And that's my daughter and my granddaughter. That's me. When he walked in the door, in my front door or back door, I never thought about him being a president. It didn't, I mean, he was just Jimmy Carter. I made this scrapbook here, and this is some of the pictures about Plains, Georgia, when he said he was going to run for president. And it tells all about all of the things that Mondale, of course, he was in. This was at the convention. There's just a lot of interesting pictures in this from 1977. Thank you, Lord, for letting him live 100 years and do all the things that he wanted to do. And I think he accomplished so much that who could be sad over anybody who had done what that man had done from a little town in Plains, Georgia, raised on a peanut farm, and became the President of the United States.
You know, we all knew this day was coming, but you still can prepare, but you're never ready. It was hard to sometimes separate Jimmy Carter from President Carter, but yet he was the same man all the time, never acted any different to any of us. And we were having a dinner at the church one night, and Mr. Jimmy fixed his plate and came over and sat down by this little boy. The little boy said, "No, you can't eat beside me. That's my mother's place." I looked at him and I said, "Maybe not as important as I thought you were." And he and I just laughed. Well, of course, when I told the little boy's mother, she was devastated. I said, it was a precious moment. It's tough to talk about, my friend. I always loved his touch. I usually got a kiss on the cheek. I loved for him to ask me to do something that he wanted done. I loved it when he would call me and he'd say, "Jan, this is Jimmy," like I didn't recognize the voice. An example of a true friend, a real true friend.
From here.
Kind of a neat button. Georgia Tech, 1943, and there's President Carter. His level, but you know something? I keep trying. You could see the sadness in his eyes. He was saying, this is my best friend, this was that. But the sadness in his eyes they were all gone.
Yeah, sorry. So while growing up and during college and after college, I've been on a ton of different habitat builds. I've gone on some international builds, and it was just always known how involved he was with habitat and everything that he did for his community and the world at large.
I'm very familiar with his legacy in Plains will be he left it a better place than he found it. We're prosperous, and a lot has to do with him. He cared. One of the first things he would always ask is, how's business? We went from a not too good downtown to the point where every storefront here has an active, profitable business. For a while, we were kind of alone. What people don't know about them are their regular, down-to-earth people. He has a temper. I've been yelled at. He's quite normal. Rosalind was quite forceful in the way she expressed herself. But the biggest thing to me is just by my relationship with them, they've made me a better person, day in and day out.
Yes, I would say he's one of the standouts, and he came from such a rural area, farming community. We grew up in a farming community in Illinois, so we had sort of a connection that way with his past, and we feel that he really strived to move the nation in a very positive way.